All right, guys, and we're back, and this is David for Flix Talk Podcast, and I'm back with my amazing co-host who's been gone for a little bit, but you know what? He assured me he is back, baby, just like the Terminator in Judgment Day. What's up, Josh?
That's right, and I had to go from there to come to here. A lot of God of War, a lot of writing. I'm glad to be back, David.
You're really on your gaming shit heavy, aren't you?
Yeah, it's just something I've always done when I was a child. And then my dad would take it away, and I kind of miss it.
Did you guys have video games in the Ukraine, or where is he from? USSR? Austria. I'm from Austria.
Oh, Austria. A video game was like handball. We did not have these fancy video games that people have now.
All right, Arnold, can I talk to Josh again? Let's talk to Josh.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, there you are. All right, guys. So we're going to be talking about a movie that was recommended to me. What's the guy's name? I can't even check my phone because I'm using it to record, but I think his name is... it's Sticks Reviews Movies, and I'm going to put his little picture right here so you guys can follow him, but he did recommend for me a movie called Circle, which I never heard about. You saw this movie a while back, right?
Yeah, I saw it like maybe around when it came out.
Okay, so this movie is from 2015. It's a drama, horror, mystery, more on the horror side, and kind of like, I guess, sci-fi-ish, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely sci-fi-ish.
Yeah. So the quick synopsis for this film is, held captive and faced with their imminent executions, 50 strangers are forced to choose one person among them who deserves to live. So if you guys have seen the poster, just Google Circle 2015 movie, and you see 50 people placed into the middle of this room, right? And they're each standing on a red circle. And in the middle of all of them is kind of like this sphere that's controlling them. Not really controlling them, but controlling their fate for sure. And every 2 minutes, in a nutshell, every 2 minutes, someone gets shocked with like a lightning bolt or something. And
it's a crazy red lightning bolt.
Yeah, and it kills. Was it red?
I think it was red or like some weird.
Yeah, I just like
color.
Like it looked like a lightning electrocution bolt just shoots them and they die. Right. So, it comes down to how is this happening? What's going on? Who's going to die next? And why people are dying, right? So I didn't even know if this plan would work, really. Like if the plot of this movie would work. And it seemed like after maybe 20 minutes or so, I got kind of sucked into it. What'd you think?
Yeah, at first I was like, what if this doesn't go anywhere? And then it started getting entertaining because everyone started crumbling. Yeah. And started picking sides and it got crazy.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely got crazy. And I think like once we kind of figured out who would be next or how they were picking who would be next. By the way, we're going to talk semi-spoilers, I guess, in this movie. And we'll kind of save the bigger spoilers towards the end. But they do figure out that people can be chosen to be killed next. So then it almost becomes like a social experiment, right?
Right. Totally a social experiment.
Yeah. So then you get people judging people based off their looks, off their age, off of all kinds of things who they want to die next because they're pretty much trying to save their own ass in the end, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this movie is directed by Hann and Mario Miscione. And I don't know too much of their work at all. I think this is kind of one of their bigger movies. I think they did like shorts and other things like that. But this is a very low budget movie. But it got decent scores. And I think it's just more for the entertainment factor of who's going to die next and why. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it all comes down to America likes to see someone die.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. America loves these purge movies as well as like... Hostel and Saw movies. Dude, how many Saw movies are there, bro? Just look at the Saw franchise.
I think like 6, 7?
No, I think there's like 10. I believe there's like 10.
Is there 10?
Uh-huh.
Wasn't there like Saw in 3D too?
Yeah, there was Saw in 3D. They really milked that franchise for what it was worth.
Oh my God.
And it was just nuts all around. But yeah, I think we're really desensitized as a country, as a world, and we want to see just death, senseless death. But I think with this film here, we got a little more in depth with the whole social experiment, like I said, human interaction. And you get people that are turning on each other as well as people trying to click up and divide the room, right?
Right.
So, like I said, I didn't know what to expect. And I saw this recently. You saw this. Did you rewatch it again?
Yeah, I watched it like twice again.
Okay. Okay, and the second time around, did you kind of enjoy it as well as you did the first time?
There were certain parts that I didn't remember, and then certain that I did, and then I was like, oh yeah, and then I was like, oh yeah, but at the end it doesn't, it doesn't really fulfill me. Like I wasn't really satisfied.
Yeah, just because you kind of knew what was going to happen, and the ending, which I'll talk about at the, towards the end of this podcast, I mean, were you surprised by it? Like, I mean, a lot wasn't explained, but it was. Yeah,
I thought there was going to be a little bit more, more backstory, or explain more in depth of the character that's left. Yeah,
Yeah. No, I totally agree. So in this, I mean, we get a very elaborate cast of people. We get someone who is we get a police officer. We get someone that's in the army. We get someone that's pregnant. We get your common working day-to-day job people. Who else is in there? I mean, wasn't it like a lawyer or something? And
or Wall Street guy.
Yeah, like a Wall Street guy. Yeah, he had like the suspenders
and shit.
Yeah, he reminded me of Michael Douglas in Wall Street, actually.
Right.
Yeah, so you get your
American Psycho, Christian Bale.
Right. Like so you get a Hispanic man who doesn't know English at all. So you get all walks of life, right? And these people do talk about, what was the last thing that they remember before they ended up in this room. And I think everyone, and I just remember that too, they all kind of came to the conclusion that they were driving, or that, what was it? They saw like a flash in the sky or something, and then they just kind of...
and then they got out of their car and started running, and that's all they remember.
That's what it was. Yeah. So I think that's kind of a cool idea, because it's not too detailed, but it almost plans for an alien attack. So you just kind of know that something came down and sucked up these humans. I mean, who knows? They might be sucking them up in batches of 50. We don't know. I mean, or even smaller batches, or even larger batches, just for their own like sick entertainment. You know what I mean?
Or is it totally random? Like maybe a group forms and then they suck them up. Like who knows?
Yeah, because you know what? I think in this instance, I think everyone was talking about that they were driving on the freeway, right? And they got out of their cars, like you said.
Right.
Yeah. So it might have been just that. I mean, the first group of people they saw, they sucked them up and had them in these pods or whatever. But as far as the look of everything for a low budget movie, and I'm not sure the budget of this. Let me actually scroll down on IMDb. By the way, we have a runtime of 87 minutes, which I think is perfect for this type of film. Do we have a budget? I don't see one here. Usually when they don't put a budget here on IMDb, it's usually really, really low.
Too low to report.
Something. I don't see one, buddy. Don't see one.
Weird.
So I don't... yeah.
Maybe they paid some guy in the basement do the CGI. Who knows?
Yeah. So once again, there's no budget. I don't see a budget here. That kind of scares me. Maybe
they didn't get paid. You're like, hey, you know what? You do this movie, we get a free lunch.
Yeah, something. Free lunch. Anyways, back to IMDb. Okay, so I thought this was actually pretty funny. On a side note, before we get more into the movie, the guy that's quote the rich man in this movie. I know I sent you a screenshot of it, but I put up on Twitter that we were going to be reviewing this movie, just as a random, podcast or whatever. And he immediately hit me up on Twitter, and it was the guy who played the rich man, aka Sweater Vest Man. And I'll put his picture up right here. And he said, "Let me know what you thought of the movie." He's an actor, and he's done a lot of it looks like a lot more low budget projects. And so let's just jump into that guy, because I'm sure he wants to hear what we thought of his performance in the film as the rich guy. And you know what? He had a lot of speaking roles. And I'm going to see if I can find him as the rich man. Oh yeah, here he is, Daniel Lynch. Daniel Lynch. So, do you want to kind of talk about the rich man? Because he was one of the characters that had a lot more speaking roles, and I think he was trying to be the leader of the group at one time in the film.
Yeah, he played a really good dickhead, rich.
Totally.
But but at the end, he was just like so overwhelming, and I was so happy with what happened to him. But other than that, yeah, he brought a lot to the table. And I feel like him and the college kid, because I don't think they say the college kid's name.
Right.
They were clashing so many times, and then finally he got what he deserved. You know.
So the college kid here, it's actually that's what his name is in the film, Carter Jenkins. So yeah, like you said, so you have this college guy, and then you have characters like Daniel Lynch, the rich man, who kind of. But I can understand why they're kind of jumping to conclusions and becoming so emotional, because you literally have 2 minutes to pick who's going next. And if you're trying to save your own ass, you're really going to kind of pit anybody against each other, right?
Right.
So, but he was over the top. And I think his justification for wanting to live was a little harsh. I mean, he was going, after people who didn't have kids. And that kind of puts you in because there was a lot of younger people there, a younger cast there. And it's like, okay, they haven't even lived through their 20s, some of them, and you're already putting that death mark on them pretty much, you know what I mean?
Right.
So you're not really giving him a chance. And he was saying, and then I remember there was a point where they said, well, how many kids do you have if you deserve to live? And he's like, I have 7 kids. And they're like, oh, come on, man, you're making that shit up. Right. And the other guy's like, well, I got 20 kids. Yeah, I got 29 kids. So, and it's really cool as a social experiment, because then you get people, you don't know who to trust. I mean, they could be lying about their past, where we find out there is a couple there who's not really what they seem to be. And I thought it was pretty cool because, like I said, when it comes to that moment of, oh shit, you might die or I might die, I'm going to lie. I'm just going to lie to save my own ass. You know what I mean? Right. So I thought that was really cool. And for a setting, this movie takes place just all in one room. And it's kind of hard to do that nowadays. You know what I mean? Other than, it's funny, we were just talking about Reservoir Dogs and how they had very limited locations for that movie. That was a low budget movie. I mean, a low budget Hollywood movie, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you only have a couple locations there. But in this, situation, you have one room with right. with just different camera angles you're dealing with and more. It's more about the human factor.
Oh yeah, definitely. The human psyche played a lot in this movie. Yeah. And what I loved about it is you see all this extreme tension going around because, like you said, they have 2 minutes and they adapt and they just change. You see them change on each other so quickly.
Oh yeah, yeah. At first, when they wake up, they're just trying to figure out what's going on. Then once we see bodies dropping off, I mean, it's not much of a spoiler, guys. This movie is about people dying. It's just more about who's next to go and why. And them trying to really just figure out, and it takes maybe about 4 or 5 people getting killed for them to figure out how they're able to control this, because ultimately they are able to control who is chosen next. And it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild, and I did enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie, dude. When they started all kind of forming these, opinions about the older people should die because, they've already experienced life, or this woman should, die because she doesn't have any children. I kind of felt, uneasy about that, because I think if this were to happen in a real life scenario, like The Purge or like whoever, people would go after the elderly or those that they don't feel are superior to them first, man. And that really sucks. You know what I mean?
That does suck.
Yeah, they've lived their life, but who are they to play judge and jury,
Right. Plus they have wisdom beyond our years.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I thought it was a cool movie. I thought it was very cool. So do you want to get into any more details before we get into some kind of spoilers, I guess?
I would say, well, if I wanted to get into like favorite character. Okay. I would say my favorite character was the college kid because he really surprised me at the end. Well, who's yours would be?
So that was the guy that survived all the way to the end, you said?
Yeah.
Because it says their names, young man, tattooed man and stuff like that. So I kind of vaguely remember them, but there was a lot of similar age groups and stuff like that. I would say, man, that's a toughie. As far as favorite characters go, I'm trying to remember based on this cast too.
You have 2 minutes.
Thanks for that. Thank you.
Right.
You know what? I actually really like the army guy because I think he was the only one that was more grounded. He was a more rational thinker.
Yeah.
And what was funny is that people automatically thought that he should sacrifice his own life because he was in the army. And he's like, you know what?
That was fucked up.
That was really fucked up because he was like, you know what? I just got back from doing a tour protecting our nation. And this is what I come back to. You guys treating me like this, I have a family, So I actually liked the acting from him. I thought he was a solid character. And I didn't want to see him die, So I thought he was more of a solid character. I could have sworn I seen this tattooed guy before. His name is Cesar Garcia, and he kind of played our gang.
He looks familiar.
Yeah, he played our gangbanger in the movie. And that's where I've seen him from. He's in Fast and the Furious, the first one.
There you go.
And he's also in SWAT and Harsh Times. You remember Harsh Times with Christian Bale. Christian Bale.
Really?
Yeah, so that was a really good one. So he is tattooed, so he's getting kind of typecasted in these roles. You can't do much more than that. I think he was a decent actor.
Yeah, he was not bad.
Yeah, so I guess you get all kinds of, like I said, you get the criminal aspect in there. There was a cop thrown in there who's obviously judging this guy, this guy did this. And so it kind of pins everybody against him and, forms different opinions about him. So, I think, like I said, that was my favorite character was probably the army guy. It was wild when it came down to the pregnant girl and there was a young girl in there who looked maybe about like 7 or 8 years old. Because then you start getting more moral issues. Yeah, are you going to kill a pregnant girl or are you going to kill a child?
Yeah, that was a toughie right there.
That was a toughie. And, without getting into too much spoilers, it kind of comes down to them at the end of the movie, And yeah, that was tough. And I think that should lead right into our spoiler talk for this movie. So if you guys haven't seen Circle, not The Circle, because that's a totally different movie. If you guys have seen Circle 2015 and want to hear more about it, guys, listen from now on, from this point on. But if you haven't, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up or subscribe button or whatever before you take off. But anyways, we're going to jump right into spoiler talk for this film. So, ultimately it does come down to these two. And then we have College Guy, right? College Guy?
College Guy, yeah.
College Guy is the last one. I think he's kind of figured it out. He has really figured it out, what's going on. And ultimately he becomes the winner. And he ends up killing both of them, right? Or no, he tricks a little girl. That's what it was. He tricks a little girl into stepping off the platform, killing herself because he said he would do it too, right?
Right, but I feel like going back to him, I feel like he's been manipulating everyone the whole time. But originally
he was.
I thought it was the dude that looked like Rob Zombie, or
Which
the
one was
atheist
that?
guy.
Which one was that?
Remember the guy with the long hair? He kind of looked like Rob Zombie. It felt like he was manipulating everyone from the get-go, and he just didn't want people to know.
Yeah. Well, there's also that silent,
that crazy ending.
Yeah, there's also that silent guy, the fatter guy, who didn't say anything the whole time, and then I guess we came to find out that he not voting the whole time. Well, the college guy,
he wasn't participating at all.
Well, that's what the college guy said, but do we know that for a fact that he was not voting that these guys would die next?
I don't know. I've never seen him move.
Yeah,
I've never seen him move his hands. Yeah.
So there was a silent. I think he's actually quoted. He's credited as Silent Man or the silent guy, because there's a guy that doesn't talk the whole time, and then he ends up getting to the final round, and then they end up voting that he dies next. Once they find out that he wasn't voting, I think maybe he was not voting. I think that was the whole point of this film, is to see who would vote and who wouldn't. And I guess ultimately, if they would not have voted, no one would have died, right?
Maybe.
I think that's what it came down to, because
I thought if you didn't make a vote, people still would die, though. No.
Well, how would you
in the beginning?
But if you don't have that thought in your mind to vote someone to die, then who would die?
That's true.
But maybe it's like an instinctual thing that you can't control. I mean, you're looking at 50 people in a room, so you're going to have some kind of visual judgment on them, whether you think that they don't look up to your standard or whatever. So that might put that thought into the sphere or whatever in the middle and choose for you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like if you were to put two people side by side, a homeless man and a Wall Street guy, you're gonna have an opinion on both of them, right?
Right.
But that's an instinctual thing. We judge people with just what's that movie where he says we judge people like in the first 5 seconds of seeing them or something like that? We just automatically judge people, and that's just human nature. So I think it might just jump to doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
at the end too, it gave me the way I took it, the way I interpreted it was that your vote really doesn't matter at the end. I don't know. I just felt that way.
Why do you say that?
Because the kid just like outsmarted all of them, but I think he was supposed to be like.
You're talking about the college kid?
Yeah, the college kid. Because to me, I feel like he's been playing this forever. He just didn't want people to know. He like knew way too much.
Really?
Yeah, that's how I interpret it.
I don't know if that's the case. I think this is probably he's probably just figured it out before everybody else. I think is what it was.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying? And he definitely manipulated people into choosing sides and thinking that he knew about the game when he was just using it for his own gain. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
he definitely figured it out before everybody. And that's why he ended up becoming the winner. You know, so college guy was the winner of this game. And he actually ends up being kind of pulled out. We find out that it is an alien ship. So let's just jump to the ending. We find out that it is an alien ship. And he's put back on Earth, on the streets, I guess with the other survivors or maybe other bystanders because there's a group of other people there.
Right.
And did you notice how much those people look like the people he was playing the game with on the street? Do you remember that? Yeah.
Like the same type of person?
It looked almost the exact same cast. Like they were different people, obviously, but they had the same features. And there was like a little kid there too. And I was like, wait a minute, these are like the same people, but I don't know what happened, you know? So we see that he was the winner of whatever challenge that they put him through. And, noticeably, the CGI for the UFOs was terrible. So let's just get that out of the way because that was the one thing that threw me off about this movie, right? CGI was terrible, and obviously their budget didn't go to that. But we noticed, I think it was like 3 or 4 spaceships in the sky. So, like I said, they were probably sucking up people, and who knows, they might have been doing this worldwide or nationwide.
Right.
You know, so
but like going back to what you said, I think you're right. They're probably choosing a select group of people. It has to meet those requirements before they suck them up. Maybe
these people definitely. It seemed like it was a plan. Like it was a plan that 50 specific people were chosen. You know, so yeah, I think you're right in that sense. But I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it overall. It's a very simple premise. Very low budget, and I thought it was a cool story. I mean, it filled up 87 minutes, and that was, I watched it all the way through, and I don't watch too many movies all the way through on Netflix.
Right. When I first originally watched it, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, and then I just toughed it out, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely. What would you rate it, sir?
Definitely kudos to the guy who recommended it. As far as an overall movie, I'll give it a solid 7 because I hadn't seen anything like this really, So a solid 7 out of 10. I definitely check, tell someone if they're into sci-fi or horror or just, psychological type movies, definitely give this one a watch. I mean, it's not anything that's going to blow you away, but it'll leave you thinking a little bit, like how we're kind of discussing it. It'll leave you kind of talking about it a little bit afterwards with your friends. So yeah.
Right. And I think that was the intentions, to make people think and talk about situations like that. Maybe, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, who knows?
But I'd probably give it like 7.5.
7.5.
I really enjoyed the tension between everyone.
Yeah. And there was a huge cast in this, guys. So I mean, I'm still searching for that budget because how do you pay this many actors? Oh yeah, we didn't even mention the Asian guy. The Asian guy that's actually in the main trailer. There's an Asian kid who I thought was actually going to stick around longer, but he ended up getting killed like less than halfway through, I think. It seemed like he knew something, like he might have figured some things out, but he got killed as well. Remember he had the backwards hat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was going to stick around longer, but...
Why did the atheist die again? I forgot.
I guess there was a minister that was there, and there was a group of Christians as well. And he brought up the fact that don't worry, God will protect you, God will sort things out. And the guy's like, "You think God is here tonight? Like, do you think God is in this room? He's
right. He's gonna let all these people kill each other." Exactly,
and that's kind of what pitted everybody against him because the guy said it. I mean, he goes, "Hey, man, well, like 90% of the country is a Christian nation, Catholic Christian nation," and he's so true, and that's what got him killed. Like, yeah, you may be an atheist, but don't talk about it, buddy. Not in this situation.
You don't have our opinions and beliefs.
Right. Actually, it says there's a goof in here. Under the trivia section, it says a goof.
What?
A man says 95% of people believe in God, assuming he means Yahweh / the biblical God. The actual figure is 33% globally, or 80% in the United States. Oh, it must have went down. If this theologically disputed claim that the gods described in the Bible and the Quran are the same God is accepted, then the global figure rises to 54%. If he means any god or pantheon of gods, the figure is still around 84% worldwide. Interesting. Okay, so the numbers were a little... They had to fudge the numbers a little bit, but obviously, I mean, 95% is still better than saying, 80%, right? So I think they just did it just for movie's sake,
Right.
But without making this podcast and vlog too long, any other thoughts on this movie, Josh?
Go check it out. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a shit fest.
Yeah.
But
I've definitely seen worse. I have definitely seen worse. Yeah. Yes. Okay, guys. So if you guys didn't know already, we are shooting this vlog separately. It's like a vlog podcast. And we just wanted to kind of try it out because if you guys didn't know already, I'm in Southern California. Josh is in Sin City, Las Vegas, baby. So we're going to kind of piece these videos together and just something cool we wanted to try on a Saturday morning. And it's the weekend, baby. We got some time to kill and we just wanted to try this one out. But we are going to upload this to our iTunes, CastBox, and Google Play as well. So you guys can listen to it on there, as well as checking us out on YouTube. And I want to get you on this YouTube, Josh, because I'm trying to build this channel, Flix Talk, man.
Get on the YouTube.
You got to get on the YouTube, but we got to...
I might have to get extra memory on my phone, but we'll figure it out, brother.
We got to technically find out how this is going to work. I mean, we barely got the microphones to work, man. It took us so damn long. Anyways.
You're in the making.
Right. All right, guys. Anyways, Josh is back. I'm going to be doing all the podcasts with him and as much vlogs as I can. I mean, if we see movies together, we're going to talk about them. If I see movies separately, like I just saw The Spy Who Dumped Me, I just did a review for that one, a vlog. So, if you want to do one separately, Josh, I mean, we're going to figure out how we're going to watch these movies either together or just separate, but we're going to talk movies. I mean, it's summer 2018. Right. We got to talk movies,
We're back, baby.
We got to talk.
Don't believe the rumors. Don't believe the hype. I'm not dead. I'm not sick. I'm back.
Right? We're back. We're going to fit you in the schedule, buddy. So
Flix Talk forever.
Flix Talk forever. So that being said, this is David for Flix Talk Podcast signing out.
And this is Josh from Flix Talk telling you we're back.
Woo! And keep on watching and listening, guys.
And keep on watching and listening. Yeah, fuck.